Hey there everybody, Crazy here. If you watch my channel, you know I recently got the Platinum for Dead by Daylight on the PS5 version, and that was actually my 50th Platinum ever, which was a pretty big milestone for me. I used to be an Xbox player, but then eventually switched over to PS4 and then eventually PS5 after that, because the Platinum system intrigued me. I always liked to 100% games and get all the different trophies and try my best to go for that. And yeah, here we are now. I'm at 50 whole trophies here. Took a long time. I believe 3 years if I'm not mistaken. And yeah, we'll just kind of go over every platinum from the first to the newest. So yeah, right here you see in September 14th of 2020. So yeah, 3 years ago about. I got the platinum for Goat Simulator. I do not remember this one too much to be honest with you, but I do remember I was a very big fan of it, and the chilled back nature of it definitely is a great thing to go for trophies for. Horizon Zero Dawn, honestly a great game, nothing bad I can say about it. Actually, there was one thing I do remember. There's these hunting trails you have to do. Specifically, the stealth ones were very annoying. Other than that, the game is great. I even went for the 100%. I believe that included doing New Game Plus on the hardest difficulty, so yeah. And then next up here we have 2 platinums. I'm sure a lot of people are gonna groan when they see. My name is Mayo and my name is Mayo 2. Yes, I know, they're basically just platinum games, but I actually do like the humor in them and actually did get enjoyment from it. And I think that's all that really matters. I would never play a game if I'm not actually enjoying it. I think that's just pointless. Now for Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. I again got the 100% and the platinum on this. Huge fan of Star Wars if you don't know. And this game was amazing. I'm sure many of you know Jedi Survivor came out recently. And I am super excited to play that. I actually haven't gotten the chance to play it yet, because I've been so busy with videos and work and everything. I am going to try to get to it soon here though. I actually want to get the platinum again for that game as well. And mind you, this is the PS4 version as well. Now, Telltale, the Walking Dead series. This is the whole series, so it's only 1 platinum, not multiple if you did it separately. And obviously, if many of you have played this game is amazing. Sure, some of the later seasons I'm not crazy about, but those original couple first seasons are so iconic. I mean, I think it's a game everybody has to play eventually once in their life. Call of Duty Modern Warfare. Yeah, not much to say about that one. I'll occasionally pick up a Call of Duty game and enjoy it. I actually was a big fan of the more recent one. So yeah. The Forest. This is one of my favorite survival games ever. I'm actually really excited to try out Sons of the Forest, which I have not gotten a chance to check out yet. Kind of waiting for a PS5 version, but seems like that might take a while to come out. Yeah, gosh, this one is definitely a tricky platinum from what I remember. You have to speed run the game. You have to cut down like an ungodly amount of trees, like way more than you would normally cut down in a normal playthrough. I think it was like 500 trees maybe. It was probably even way more than that, maybe 5,000. I don't remember the exact number, but that trophy was insane. I just mindlessly watched podcasts when I did that. Yeah, some annoying trophies, but one of my favorite survival games of all time. I mean, really, I think anybody should go and check that out. Especially the newer one, it looks pretty good. Concrete Genie. Gosh, I kind of forgot about this game, to be honest. This was part of the free PlayStation games thing for the subscription. I do remember the system of being able to draw your own, like, they call genies, or kind of look like monsters from what I always built. But yeah, you can build like your own little guys and like draw them. And I thought it was pretty cool. Definitely a very unique game. And yeah, I think I actually heard recently, apparently the studio shut down or something, which is very sad to hear. I mean, this is such a unique game, and I really would have liked to see more from them. A Way Out. Yeah, this is a great co-op game. If anybody has somebody to, play a game with, this is a really good one. I did experience some strange connection issues, but it was probably just a random thing that happened. I don't know if that's extremely common. Resident Evil 7 Biohazard, the PS4 version. Yeah, I do eventually want to actually go back and get all of the Resident Evil Platinums, but that's gonna take a very long time, so, not gonna rush it or anything. Yeah, Resident Evil 7 is a great game. One of my favorite Resident Evils. Village is great too. And of course, I like all the other remakes as well. They're all amazing, to be honest. Mind you, I did not get 100% on this. I usually do aim for 100%, by the way, on all my games. But with Resident Evil 7, there is some very, very difficult DLC trophies, so I did not bother with that one. Until Dawn. If you're watching my channel because you are familiar with Dead by Daylight, you actually will know the people that made this because they're working on a Dead by Daylight game, which is pretty cool. They make some amazing games. I do want to eventually platinum at least The Quarry. The Dark Picture games I'm not too crazy about. I mean, they're cool and all, but the premise of a lot of them I'm not crazy about. Anyways, Until Dawn is amazing. Again, it's one of those games I think everybody should try out. The characters especially are, they're interesting in the fact that usually in these slasher movies, you typically expect the victims to be, mindless, stupid idiots, basically. But a lot of them you actually kind of get to love and really learn. And especially being able to control them, it really puts you in their shoes, so. By the way, I'm not doing much editing on this one, just kind of going at it live, so yeah. Anyways, Subnautica. Gosh, I remember this game is amazing, by the way. If you have a fear of the ocean like I do, it is so scary to play though. Going into those deep crevices with like all these creepy ass fucking alien fish. Gosh, it's creepy. It also took a while to get this platinum. Mind you, this is the PS4 one. I did get the PS5 version. I'll talk about that later. And yeah, gosh, I remember you have to discover like every location, and some of them are in like very hard to get areas, so that was definitely a tricky one. Friday the 13th Killer Puzzle. This game is underrated, man. I did want to get the platinum for the actual Friday the 13th, the game made by Gun Media, but that platinum is super hard to get. So I was thinking, and I'm like, gosh, I love Friday the 13th, and I want a platinum from Friday the 13th. And I found this little game, and it is a gem. I'm actually usually not crazy about puzzle games, but I don't know what it is they do about this puzzle game. It really actually got me into it, and I even played their other game you'll see in a bit here. Yeah, it's a great game. It has a cameo from Dead Meat 2, which is pretty cool and funny. And even Gun Media, which made the Friday the 13th the game. And now Texas Chainsaw, which, by the way, very sad I did not get the tech test for that. I was really excited to try that out. But they are giving out more keys. Hopefully I get it. Wolf Among Us. This is another Telltale game. They're actually making a second one, which I am excited for, but also a little worried because it's been a while since we've seen anything from them, so guess we'll see. Far Cry 5. When this originally came out, I was kind of a hater of it, to be honest. And then I went back, and I gotta say, it is a great game. Sure, it's kind of basic in the format of what it's built on, meaning like the gameplay and all that. But it's still just mindless fun. That's the best way I can describe it. I do remember with this one, there was a couple challenges that were a little tricky that had to do with, I think it was gold medals or something. Anyways, we got Slayway Camp. This is made by the people that made that puzzle game I was talking about, the Friday the 13th one. This is basically the same thing, but their own original take on different slasher killers. There's like parodies basically of like Pinhead and Jason and Chucky and stuff like that. Yeah, that one's still pretty cool. I think the Friday the 13th version definitely had a lot more polish and, you know, is actually licensed, which definitely is nice as well. By the way, with both of those, none of them were really too difficult in my opinion, because you eventually just start to enjoy the puzzles and start to learn them pretty well. But if you did have issues, there is guides for like how to copy the exact steps to finish it. I think I got stuck on like 1 or 2, so. Astro's Playroom. So this is March 8th of 2022. Okay, so it's been a little over a year that I got... Oh, wait. Wow. We're like almost right near the anniversary. That's funny. So yeah, it's been a year since I got on the PS5 then. Good to know. I wasn't sure exactly the date on that. And yeah, this is the first game I platinumed on PS5. I think it's the first game everybody should play and platinum on PS5, because it really fully uses the hardware of the controller, and it's honestly just a fun, amazing game. Has cool little Easter eggs and callbacks to other PlayStation games and stuff, so. Anyways, we got Horizon Forbidden West. Just like the other Horizon game, very good. I do gotta say though, there's a couple things that kind of annoyed me. I remember there was like this, what I thought was going to be a big giant boss. Don't want to spoil too much, but it sounded very creepy, and by their description, sounded like a horrifying cool boss to fight, but you actually never fight them or even see them. I don't know if it's some rating issue is why they didn't do that, but as a big fan of like horror and creepy stuff in video games, it was kind of upsetting. Other than that small little detail, great game. It's really just an improved version of the original Horizon. And mind you, I do not have 100%. I did at launch, but they added DLC after that I have not gotten to. I probably will get to that eventually though. Next up here, Elden Ring. This one has so many memories with me. First of all, my first From Software game, I've did dabble in the original Dark Souls and Bloodborne, but didn't really get into them just because it was too hard and I just kind of dropped it right off the bat. But when Elden Ring came out, I'm a huge fan of Game of Thrones and I loved the world and the characters, and I was just telling myself, I'm just going to get into this, I'm going to push myself and try something hard that I've never tried before. And it was so worth it. I love this game, honestly. And I do eventually want to play Bloodborne now, and maybe Dark Souls, not too sure about those ones, but definitely at least want to play Bloodborne. It's also got an interesting story behind it. I was able to platinum it and like play it so much because I actually got time off of work at that time because I got my tonsils removed, which was so painful. I was like bleeding from my mouth sometimes because it kept on reopening. It wasn't cauterized properly, I don't think. So yeah, I was bleeding from the mouth and like intense pain, and I'm over here torturing myself playing Elden Ring. So yeah, a very memorable part of my life, and still love the game and created an interesting experience, that's for sure. And now we have Jedi Fallen Order on the PS5. Mind you, took me a week and a day to platinum this, and that is because I did not trophy pop. I love this game so much, I was just like, you know what? I'm gonna play it from the start, all over again, because I love it that much. And I did it. Love the game. The PS5 version was even better, and I'm super excited to try Jedi Survivor. I really should get to that, actually. And you can see I was on a Star Wars bender here, because right after I platinumed Episode 1 Racer, this one I believe I did a couple of cheats for. I played through it normally and enjoyed it that way, and then I think I went back and cheated some of the trophies, if I'm not mistaken. Honestly, the game's not great, but being a huge fan of Star Wars, the pod racing scene is like so funny and iconic that a whole game surrounded by that was pretty fun to play, to be honest. Stranger Things 3 the game. This is probably one of my more rare platinums and even games in my collection. So, a lot of you watching this might know me from my Dead by Daylight content. And you know that Stranger Things was removed from Dead by Daylight a while back. Did you also know they removed their own games as well from the stores? Yes, this was a game that happened before all this, and they actually pulled it from the store as well, which is such a weird thing to pull your own game from a store. Especially because the game's super cool and fun. It's like this kind of retro, like 8-bit, top-down, not co-op shooter, but basically you switch between characters and they all kind of work in tandem together and have unique abilities. It's a really cool, fun game. And the soundtrack too is great, by the way. It kind of uses that retro Stranger Things sound and ups it up to a 10 with like the retroness, because it's an 8-bit game. Really cool game. Sadly, because they removed it from the store, the physical version is the only way to get it now if you did not previously own it. And because of that, it's like super expensive on eBay. I think the last I checked, my copy was $100, but it could be more now. I even got the collector's edition just because I knew it was going to be such a rare thing. This one is super underrated. Mothman 1966. These people make a ton of different, they call them pixel pulps. They're less of a game and more of like a interactive comic book in a way. They have this, they have a retro 8-bit style and it's really cool. And I love Mothman. The whole idea of Mothman is super cool to me, basically. I even went to Point Pleasant because I thought it was so cool, and yeah, game's pretty great. Very, very quick to platinum. You see, I platinumed this in 4 hours and 4 minutes, so that's pretty crazy. Stray. Oh man, I kind of forgot about this game for a bit. This game's really great. Yeah, you play as a cat. What else can you say? I mean, it's fun. There's also a fun little twist that I don't want to spoil that kind of makes it out to be a bit of a different game than you would expect. And then we got My Name is Mayo 3 again. I know. A lot of people are probably going to be disappointed by that, but I gotta say the story of this game was surprisingly good, especially the third one. There's a interesting story going on there that I don't want to spoil. Nun Massacre. This is a puppet combo game. I'm sure many of you are familiar with Puppet Combo. If you aren't, definitely check out their stuff. They've sadly only ported a few of their games onto PlayStation, but there is more coming. And as soon as they add those, I'm gonna 100% it and platinum it as soon as I can, because I love these games. Nun Massacre was especially an interesting experience because even though it's like this, super simplistic 8-bit style of look, 8-bit art style, it still managed to scare the living daylights out of me. Having the nun chase after you with that ear-piercing, loud music was insane. Alrighty, and now we got Tormented Souls. So I believe, by the way, this is a great game. It's kind of like an indie game And it's in the same vein as like Resident Evil. The monster design was super cool and unique. There's like these weird, like messed up, like medical experiments. Very great game. The PS5 version, I believe I did legit. And as you can see, this one only took 18 hours. I believe the PS4 version, I wanted the other platinum and I just kind of cheated it because there's some console commands you can do. Evil Dead the game on both PS4 and PS5. It's really sad to see a lot of people not appreciate this game because I honestly really like Evil Dead the game. Especially if it's still getting content updates. I think they're doing at least a decent job of keeping it up. But yeah, I do wish a lot more people would give it a chance. It's definitely one of the more interesting asymmetrical horror games out there. Last of Us Part 1. I did want to platinum the original as well. But it's a lot harder to platinum the original. There's like multiplayer trophies involved. Obviously, Last of Us is an amazing game. Anybody here should try it out. I do eventually want to get part 2. I was kind of waiting to see if they did a PS5 version, but I don't think they're doing that. I believe it was just a update that, upped up the graphics for PS5. Not an actual different version. But yep, another game I believe most people should definitely try out if they haven't. And then I platinumed Minecraft. You can see it's actually almost at 100%. It's about to be ruined here with the next update coming out. But I do eventually want 100% Minecraft. Only issue is I was having issues with my realm that I normally play on. So I have to contact support every time I want to play again. It's really annoying. Hopefully I can get that figured out when this next update comes out and I can 100% it. I'm sure most of you have played Minecraft. Amazing game, obviously. Dead by Daylight on the PS4. So let's see. I got this in November 16th of 2022. So not kind of... God, how many months ago was that? Many months ago is all you need to know. Yeah, obviously love Dead by Daylight. My channel is Dead by Daylight for the most part. So there you go. Then we got Bloodwash on the PS4 and PS5. Very quick platinum. This is another puppet combo game. And, of course, amazing game as well. This one especially has some cool, interesting moments. And yeah, nothing bad to say. I love puppet combo games, so... I mean, there's nothing to complain about with a quick, fun platinum, As long as you enjoy it, that's the whole point of trophy hunting for me. Subnautica, yeah, here we have the PS5 version. This one I did cheat. You see, it took me 48 minutes only. Yeah, you can console command stuff. I just kind of basically my thing with platinuming is I usually at least go for the PS5 version, and then I might go back and do the PS4 version if it's easy enough or if it has cheats. In the case of Subnautica, I played it before I had the PS5, so that's why I did it the other way around. Do kind of wish I didn't cheat this one, because I actually love Subnautica and wouldn't mind playing it another time around. Maybe I will play Below Zero. That might be my way to reconcile that. Donut County, this I believe was another free game of PlayStation, and I think everybody should try it out. It's actually a cute, fun little game. Pretty quick to platinum, only took me 6 hours. There's tons of guides online too if you struggle with anything, and yeah. Fun game, I love it. Cute, like, calming games like this, I'm a huge fan of all the time. And speaking of calm, cute games, we have Stardew Valley. As much as I love and adore this game, one of my favorite games of all time, don't go for the 100%, please. Like, just, it will ruin part of the fun for you. Because it's not just 100%ing the normal game and that's it. That would be relatively fine. It's a lot to do, but it's not like it would ruin your experience. But there's a couple of trophies tied to the arcade machines where you play these little mini games. It's Prairie King, it was. And oh my gosh, I'm having like PTSD just thinking about it right now. Those are horrible. Other than that, it was an amazing experience to platinum this game, and I definitely think anybody should check out this game if they haven't. It's such a cute, calm game. If you're ever having a stressful day after work or something, just hopping on this is... There's nothing better than it. It's legit therapy, basically. Then we have Resident Evil Village on the PS4, and I did do some of the Mercenaries content, and what actually carried it over to PS5, because I do want to eventually platinum PS5 versions as well. Yeah, Village is great. I really love 7 through 8 of Resident Evil. Those are my favorite Resident Evils. The others I love too as well, but these ones I'm a huge fan of. Also, I almost forgot. I was going to get to platinuming Resident Evil 4, but I never got to it, and I do eventually want to do that one too. I have a huge backlog if you can't tell. Days Gone, very underrated zombie game. Sam Witwer plays the main character who played Star Killer and tons of other interesting characters. Yeah, pretty fun game. Not really knock your socks off level of good, but not horrible either. It's a fun game. BioShock 1, 2, and Infinite. My favorite game series of all time here. These games are amazing. I love the art style, the story, the messages behind them. So yeah, I got 100% on all of them. They're all great games. Please try out BioShock if you have not. And my second favorite game series of all time, I'm actually currently working on platinuming all of them, and I'm pretty close. As you can see, I got Fallout 3, 100% as well. All of these are 100% besides 76. We have Fallout 3, New Vegas, and 76 here. I don't know if I'm going for Fallout Shelter, because that one kind of involves having to pay money on microtransactions, which I'm not crazy about. And Fallout 4 was going to be here, but I'm waiting for the next gen patch is why it's not. Then I got Mothman 1966's Platinum recently on the PS5. I randomly found out they had a PS5 version too, and went ahead and went for it. I am going to eventually Platinum Varney Lake. I actually tried going for that, but they don't have any guides yet because it's kind of a newer game still, and also doesn't have a lot of people playing it. And Banshin Nights when that comes out. It's kind of a whole series they made basically. Then we have Power Wash Simulator, and this game, again, just like Stardew Valley and many games I mentioned in this list, they're therapy games, you know? You sit back after a long day of work, you chillax, turn your brain off, and just have fun. And that's exactly what this platinum was. You know, it was great. There was a couple ones that were kind of annoying to me, and I felt like took away the whole idea of the game basically. And that was the challenge trials, because I think the whole point of the game is taking your time and enjoying it and playing it like it's a zen game. I think when you start rushing it, it kind of takes away the whole heart of the game basically, you know? So yeah, I mean, luckily it was only a couple you had to do, and they weren't too hard in my opinion. You just had to put your sensitivity up, and you were for the most part okay. Still, very great game. They have some cool DLCs coming out. Bikini Bottom from SpongeBob is like a DLC they're doing. They're also doing Warhammer, which is insane. And they already have Tomb Raider, and I think it was Final Fantasy. So yeah, fun DLCs they do in these games, and yeah, it's a fun game. I think everybody should try it out. And of course, if you watch my channel, you already know I got the PS5 Platinum just recently. I am a little late to this one, just because the fact that I was busy with tons of videos and stuff, so yeah. But yeah, here we are, 50 platinums. My next goal is 100, but that is going to take me a very long time, so I guess stay tuned for that. A couple years from now, probably. Well, let's see. It took me 3 years to get 50, so I guess another 3 to get another 50, huh? One more thing before we end the video. I do want to do a quick little segment where I cover all my 100% that do not have platinums. If you don't know, sometimes developers do this if the list is too easy in their opinion, or if they just forgot to add one, I guess. And on the first one, we have Five Nights at Freddy's, got the 100%. There was a couple harder ones to do here, but it's not too hard. I remember the custom night on the hardest difficulty was one of the more difficult ones. Then we have Cluster Truck. This game is very fun. Almost a therapy game where you kind of chillax after a long day at work. But there's a couple exceptions that were really annoying. The beat every level without using abilities was super hard because on the last mission, I don't know why, but they made it like the hardest mission in the world. I don't know why they decided to do that. And it kind of sucks because after getting the 100%, I looked it up online and was super curious how people got this because I was struggling. It took me like hours to do that one last level. And many people were saying PC got a patch that made it easier, but PlayStation didn't. So yeah, it's harder on PlayStation apparently. And with it being so hard, it really kind of sucks there's no platinum, but at least I got the 100% to show off on my profile. And now we have Murder House. This is another puppet combo game, and for whatever reason, Nun Massacre had a platinum and this one didn't, which is very weird because I'd argue this one takes longer. But yeah, a little strange. Great game. I love this one. The comedy in this one's pretty great. Also, the killer, the big bunny, is really creepy as well. And yeah, that's basically everything. I'll see you in a couple years here, I guess, for number 100. And as always, I hope you all have a wonderful day and stay safe in the fog.